Yeah. You want me to review a film about a drummer? A jazz drummer? A film about a drummer? Who's in it? Miles Teller, the guy from 21 and Over. The guy from the really bad party movie, Miles Teller, he's drummer. Right, fine. Oh my God. Hello the YouTubes, Ash back once again, doing film reviews again. It's good to be back. Wow. Whiplash. A film about a jazz drummer. That's literally what it is. It's possibly one of the best films I have seen for a long, long time. For many reasons, but I'm just astounded that a film with that premise about a young jazz drummer can be so good. So the film stars Miles Teller as the aforementioned jazz drummer. He's a young kid who just wants to be the best at what he does. Now, we can all kind of relate to that if you've got any kind of ambition or drive at all. So he gets enlisted into a prestigious music school where the teacher, played by J.K. Simmons, is an absolute grade A bastard. If you think back to Full Metal Jacket and Ali Ermey's drill sergeant in that, he's like that, but he shouldn't be. He's a music teacher. At least Ali Ermey was an army drill sergeant. He's supposed to be a hard-ass. This guy's just trying to teach kids how to play music. And he's horrible, despicable, deplorable. Insert any other synonym you like right here. Honest, I can't get over just how much I hated this guy. Anyway, stop. I'm getting ahead of myself. As I said, Whiplash, young guy, wants to play drums, comes across this teacher who's an absolute hard-ass. The film essentially centres around their relationship and just how hard this teacher is willing to push this kid to be as good as he needs to be, or as good as he wants to be, even. And credit where credit's due, he's not just a twat to this kid, he's a twat to all the kids. Every instrument, every section, everyone gets their fair share of grief. And you kind of get the sense that they've all been through that to get to where they are at this point, so he's not just picking on one kid for the sake of picking on one kid. He rides them all as hard as he possibly can to get the best he possibly can out of them. And he does come on to explain that at some point, where you start maybe feeling a twinge of empathy towards him, but then you think back to the last hour and a half and what he's already done. That empathy wears off pretty quickly. Now, what I love about Whiplash is everything, but if I want to break it down a bit, it's how it can take such a bog standard premise and make something so brilliant, and it's all down to the script and the two leads. Now, it's no surprise to me that the script's been Oscar nominated because it is phenomenal. In fact, I am not convinced that J.K. Simmons didn't improvise 90% of his lines because they're just so organic and so natural. But knowing that the Academy once turned down Aladdin for Best Screenplay because of how much Robin Williams improvised leads me to think that everything that J.K. Simmons says was straight off the page. So it's not just a brilliant script, the fact that J.K. Simmons was able to deliver it so believably and so brilliantly is what absolutely blew me away. I've seen this guy in films before, Juno. He was actually the glittering bits in the big festering pile of shite that was Spider-Man 3, and of course the other Spider-Man movies. But I've never seen him as good as this. I've never once thought, this guy is Oscar-worthy every time he steps in front of the camera. Now, I want to see him in everything. I want him to be in everything. If there's a role that requires a man of his age to be an absolute hard-ass, I want him in it. But it's not just J.K. Simmons either. Miles Teller brings something to this role. I mean, he was already an accomplished drummer before he took the role. He went back and did more lessons, and the director drove him into the ground making this film. When you see Miles Teller sweating and bleeding, that is his sweat, that is his blood, that is him putting himself through the ringer for this director and for this role, and you cannot not respect that. And in turn, I now respect Miles Teller because it's not just his drumming that was fantastic, his actual performance away from the drum kit was also spot on. The next film I know that Miles Teller's got coming up is The Fantastic Four, and now that just kind of seems to be a bit beneath him because his performance in this was so good that, going down to what is essentially going to be a second-rate comic book movie. I'm sorry, it's going to be good. I have faith in Josh Trank and what they're trying to do, but because it's not actually part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you just kind of wonder, is it going to be up to par? Well, Miles Teller could probably bring it back up again, because if he puts in a kind of performance like he was capable of in Whiplash, there's every chance that this Fantastic Four reboot could be raised up to another level. Having said that, though, I can't wait to see what else he's going to do outside of the comic book universe, what other dramatic roles he's going to bring himself into, and if he can ever replicate the success that he put on the screen in Whiplash. So there it is. If you like movies about people trying to be the best and people cutting them down at every chance they get, Whiplash is the film for you. The dramatic tension is unbelievable. Everything about this film from start to finish had me on the edge of my seat, which is weird to say for a Drummond film, but that's just how well made it is. Hats off to everybody involved, and it kind of almost makes you appreciate jazz a bit more. Maybe. Probably not. Let's be honest, jazz is one of those things you either like it or you don't. You don't grow to love it. So there it is, Whiplash. Definitely 5 Academy Awards from me. It's almost perfect. So if you like this review, please hit the subscribe button above, hit the like button down below, and tell your friends, tell your family, don't tell me, ma'am. And I will see you next time, which is probably going to be again today, because I've got Big Hero 6 to review now. So stick around.